Hey y'all, welcome back to Build Within Podcast, the place where we come to inspire men to be better versions of themselves by looking at themselves. I am your host, Angel, and stay tuned because we're going to be talking about goal setting and achieving them. Yeah, hey y'all, welcome back, welcome back. I'm glad that we're back here. I know it's been a while and I apologize for that. There was just some things that I had to pivot and figure out around being able to record these episodes. As soon as I rebranded, I feel like a lot of pressure from outside stuff started happening to the point where it was preventing me from even filming in the original location. As you can tell, I'm in a different location now. I had to figure out something else, and still working on figuring out the rest because I like having a host with me, a co-host on an episode with me. So it helps the conversation, and I feel like my experience plus the other person that God has highlights to me always has a mouthful of experience to share. But anyways, let's keep the episode moving forward. Goals. Have you ever set a goal or felt super motivated at first and then life just got in the way? Well, that happened to me literally with this podcast. I felt like I was starting strong, and barriers and stuff just started getting in the way. But for some individuals, you might start strong, but that's then at some point doubt might creep in, or distractions take over, and then the goal slowly starts fading into the background. That didn't happen to me, but the part of the distractions did occur, and that was I had to stay centered in God. I had to shift my focus and just took it as a way of preparing while I figured out how to pivot. For some people, maybe the goals are like getting in shape, launching that business or podcast, or even strengthening your relationship with God. And here we are, months later, and then you're left wondering what happened. And I had that question like going through my head a bunch of times, but I stayed centered and focused on Christ. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna strengthen my knowledge right now and my wisdom through studying the Word. I need to hear from God and how to tackle this and pivot and maneuver, But for anybody that sounds familiar about, goals fading away, you're not alone. You're not alone. I did some research prior to this episode and I read somewhere that 92% of people don't achieve their goals or even New Year's resolution. We're in the month of March now, so I'm hoping that you guys are still going towards those goals. But you're not alone if you don't achieve them. That means that only 8% of people actually follow through their goals, which is 92 to 8%. 8%. That's a big difference, And then I would say why? Because goal setting isn't just about having ambition. That it requires that, but it also requires discipline. Goals require consistency, and I like to add, some people might not, but this is what this episode is about: the willing to be able to be vulnerable, to admit when you need help. And I know that can be challenging for men, to acknowledge when we fall short. And like I said earlier, that's a struggle that men face, the thing of being vulnerable. I know vulnerability can be seen as a weakness. And I believe in actuality, oh, and yeah, that vulnerability can lead to true growth as a man and as an individual, because you know vulnerability is I feel like is needed, but but you get to share that with the right people in the right community. That vulnerability part is not for everyone. Please keep that in mind. But today we're talking about that. We're talking about vulnerability, of goal setting and achieving them. Why it's so hard for us to stick to our goals, and sometimes how fear and ego get in the way. For me, it was fear back in the beginning of my younger self. Let's just say that. And most importantly, how we can possibly overcome them. I hope that I have some tips and things that can help you overcome those barriers, and that can help you follow through with those goal settings that you have set for yourself, for your families, for your community, to become a better version of you, because as men we are called, and sometimes we are called to be able to break some changes that we might have from generations that we have lived through, well, not generations, but from previous generations that we have to sometimes, as men, have to be called to overcome those, Took time there because those generational stuff I feel like can cause a lot of the issues why goals are not accomplished, And listen, I get it. Nobody likes to fail. Nobody likes to fail. But the truth is, real growth only happens when we embrace the failure or the struggle or the long suffering or the, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people like to avoid those trials. They go around them instead of facing it and going through it with God. God will help you and see who you need to become to be able to accomplish that goal. So that's what we're diving into today. So if you ever feel stuck or unmotivated, or feel like your goals are slowly slipping away, this episode is for you. So I hope that the tips and my experience and what I've learned from spending time with God can help, get you to even, I would say, finish or accomplish those goals. That's the goal of this episode today. So I would say, where do I begin? I want to say why sometimes, in the beginning of when I was younger, I used to struggle as a man with goal setting. And the reason I struggled with goal setting was because the number one for me was I had a fear of failure. And I think many men can relate to that. We tend to avoid setting or pursuing big goals because we fear of measuring up, or fear of of failure, you know, of fear of not being able to accomplish it. But me being able to journal has been a key helper of me being able to see what I have accomplished, you know, and it gives me it motivates me when I'm able to read about what I've come from, where I've been, and where I'm at now. For other men, it might be ego and pride. Asking for help or admitting struggles can feel like weakness. When I was younger, I definitely felt like I was a lone wolf and I had to do things myself. You know, my story, since I was young, I've been, you know, taking care of myself a lot, even though I did have my mother with me, who I love to death, you know. Lack of consistency can affect men as well, you know. And then another one, I would say perfectionism. Some men won't even start unless they feel ready, like 100% ready. And you will never be 100% ready. You can be prepared, and that preparation might be for the first step. And then you will figure out the next one. Trust me, just take the first step. For other men, it might be external pressures. You know, social expectations can cause men to set goals for the wrong reason, you know, or even, because I've seen it. I've seen it with friends of mine. I've seen it with other men that, you know, they want to do things to be seen a certain way. And that can be exhausting. You know, God wants you to be a true version of yourself. So aligning your goals with Him is very important, you know. So think about this. Peter in the Bible, he had the courage to step out onto the water. For people that might not know that story, that's when Jesus was they were on a boat and Jesus was out of the boat in the storm, you know. And Peter, like I said earlier, took the step, but then into the water. But as soon as he took the step, doubt took over and he started to sink. So that's what happens when we let fear and distractions dictate our journey, you know, instead of faith and commitment. Faith will take you a very long way, as far as and commitment as well, you know. But commitment to seeking God and staying aligned with God helps you really stay consistent, you know. I have a question for y'all, you know, to reflect on. You don't have, you know, you can answer in the comments if you like, or take time to journal it down, or whichever way you like to do things, do it. Have you ever avoided setting a goal because you were afraid of failing, or maybe you started, but when things got tough, you gave up? Why do you think that happens? Think about it for a second. Why do you think that happens? I know for me, the reason that happened was, like I mentioned earlier, I had a fear of failure. I had a fear that if I didn't know this knowledge, or if I didn't know this and that, I wouldn't be able to accomplish it. What I learned over the years is that it's okay not to know everything. It's okay to take what you do know and apply it to whatever goal you are pursuing or trying to achieve. You know, That's what it was for me. But being vulnerable has been a big role in my success as far as being able to accomplish goals that I set for myself, goals that I've set for my family, goals that I have just done throughout my years, you know. And these are some probably tips that I can say. Accountability matters. True progress happens when you allow others to support and challenge you. So community is very important. You know, be mindful of who you keep around yourself. Being able to admit weakness is a strength. That's another one. The strongest men are the ones who recognize when they need to grow. The strongest men are the ones that recognize when they need to grow and apply that growth. You know, they might be seeking therapy, reading the word more often, changing the character, changing behavior, changing habits. That's true growth right there. Another one, faith over fear. That one took me a while. Trusting God took me a while. You have to trust God and be able to stepping forward even when you don't see the whole picture. That one for me was challenging. And the reason it was challenging is because I had some things I had to deal with. I had the things that I had to do the work of for myself to be able to even trust God and be able to hear from God. You know, and those were, I grew up fatherless. So I have a father, you know what I mean? But my physical earth father wasn't around growing up. So it was challenging, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I saw God. You know, that's how I saw him distant, as a distant thing. So I had to really learn and shift my mindset to realize that I have a father and he's always been around, you know. But that was the reason it was keeping me from, you know, being able to even spend time with God or even connect with other men. I think I mentioned it in previous season. There's some episode that I can't remember which one, but yeah, check it out. Shameless plug. But you know, think about Jesus. You know, Jesus had an assignment to do, and he had 12 disciples. You know what I mean? And he wasn't afraid to ask them to pray with him or to walk with him when he had to do those assignments that he had to do. You know, so if Jesus had his accountability partners, we should be able to do the same. So I challenge you to be honest with yourself. What's a goal that you've been avoiding because it scares you? Yeah, I ask that again. You know, write it down and then find someone that you can trust to hold you to it. Hold you accountable to it and will not allow distractions or other things like that to keep you from being able to take that first step, you know. But being able to share, or even being able to share and be open with somebody, can be the first step as well to be able to stay accountable, you know. So I hope that was some gems in there. Ooh, what happened? It looked like the screen got dark. I'm sorry, y'all. Couldn't see what I'm recording. But I want us to be able to set goals and achieve goals without fear. That's my main thing, you know, and I feel like I might have some tips here that can help people watching on the other side of the screen. So let me start by saying this. First one, start small, and because big changes happen with small, consistent steps. Don't focus on the big, like you have a big picture, but then go back and see what steps you need to take step by step to get to that end goal. You know, embrace accountability. I've mentioned it here before. You know, find a mentor, group of friends that keep you on track. That's important. As men, we need people to be able to hold us accountable. If you're married, make sure you select that right partner that can help you stay accountable. Okay. That's important as well. Accept imperfection. Progress is better than perfection. Progress will always beat perfection, because in the progress stages, you become better every step of the way. And then lastly, trust the process. God equips those that are called. Start and he will guide you. Seek him and he will guide you. Ask for his wisdom and love. That's how you tap into the wisdom. Wisdom is a form of love didn't mean to say it that way. You come to him with love, he will give you wisdom. That's what I meant to say. You know? And then the other one, I would say, reflect and adjust. If something isn't working, don't quit. Just adjust your approach. There might be some things you have to pivot, or things you have to remove, or things you have to change. I had to do this for this podcast. I had to do it for the podcast. I had to adjust. You know, this is a goal that's been put in my heart, and I was just like, Lord, how do I deal with this? And he gave me the peace, he gave me the wisdom, and here I am. You know what I mean? Because the best version of you is on the other side of consistency. So keep going, you know, keep trusting, and never be afraid to start over again, or start again. Let me say that. Not start over, but start again. But the reason I say that is because I don't want you to start over with that same goal. Like if there's a goal that you already accomplished steps for, but then things happen and started fading away, just start where you stopped. Just start where you stopped. You'll have time to go back if you need to reflect on things, but you'll have time to do that, you know. So I hope this episode, you know, has some things for you guys that can help you navigate any seasons when it comes to like goal settings for you. If there's anything that you learn from this episode, please apply it. You know what I'm saying? Apply it to yourself. There's things that I'm constantly walking out as I record these episodes. Please be able to share your thoughts on the comments on YouTube, or probably should start providing like an email link or something, or some type of something that you guys can share your thoughts and opinions on. Would be great. I think through Spotify you're able to leave comments as well, so please share your thoughts and opinions. I really appreciate that. And then I just want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you for even watching and liking my videos. This is every time I get in front of the camera is a challenge for me. So if this episode spoke to you, I would love for you guys to be able to share it with someone who you feel needs it. So let's grow together, and I appreciate you guys. Till the next episode. Oh, wait. Please, if you're new, like and subscribe. Always forget to do this. And then also, the Surrender Challenge is still available. If you saw the episode, there's a QR code that is like on the bottom of the screen somewhere. that you can scan. There's a digital version that you can get for free. And then lastly, I try to make it as cheap as possible, which is like the actual hard copy of the journal, which can be also be purchased if you would like a hard copy through Amazon. I'll provide that link on the description as well. But intentionally is digitally is free. You know, so if you guys have like an iPad or Android tablet or anything like that, you can open it and you can write on it and everything through your notes or anything that you can use to, you know, PDF reader or whatever. But yeah, till next time, y'all. Peace.